time for Common Man. Common Man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot?
Where'd we play?
Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Okay, calm down.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
Chicago's a tough guy town. When the Vikings and the Bears play, it's a street fight. If you're going to get ready for a street fight, you better start getting ready now.
You know, sometimes when you practice, you'll set up chairs. You know, and you run through chairs just to show zones and stuff. The Viking defense looks like it's chairs.
Well, there's that.
NFL's nothing but a racket. Vikings.com and burn all place back too hard. Vikings.com and Revolver Purple Pride.
What are you doing?
We can't start winning until we stop losing.
Squad Nation, we need y'all out.
Let's go. And he's loose!
I'm going to say something controversial.
That's interesting.
I've seen enough out of Cousins, Paul. Put him on ice.
That out there we go.
He has no chance.
Right back at you. Right back at you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're seeing what a sophisticated offensive game plan looks like. You talk about...
Rosa, you don't know nothing.
He's the clown from Brown.
Correct.
He's the fourth in the North.
Number one.
This is the common man, Dan Cole.
Number one. Now, that might not last for very long, and it was just for 1 week, but it's what we do.
It appears to be more of a trend than a mirage,
well,
though.
Yeah. Oh. I'm comfortable with where I've been, where I'm going, where I'm at. And, there was a time I think you were just along for the ride, but not anymore. You're a driving force on this radio station and on this radio program. I appreciate all of your efforts on our behalf. I'm the only one, I think, that when we do those liners during the Vikings games that I mention common antenna B. I mention your name. I'm about to get really emotional here. Thanks for being who you are, Wally. Gee, Wally.
There's one more thing I request then.
What's that?
And I appreciate that you do mention me and as making me feel more part of the show.
Right.
You know, on the wall over by Studio C or the KFAN press box, they got all the fan personality. They got all the personalities of the entire radio station. None of the producers are ever on there.
I hadn't even thought of that.
It's just Common. It's just Barrero. It's just Paul Allen.
Even Rosen has a picture. And
is he over there?
Rosen's on there.
You've got to be kidding me.
And all the FM personalities. So, have you ever noticed a lot of those pictures are outdated? We have pairings that no longer exist anymore.
There's empty space now.
Yeah. There's there'll be a picture of two people that were doing a show at a radio station at one time, and those two people no longer are doing a show together. It's kind of crazy that way. And, there are those, I'm already getting the text messages from the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. Are you going to spin the wheel of topic? I aired today. I was in contact with superintendent guy, too, over at Loggers, Ross. And I said, it doesn't look like 9 o'clock is going to work today. He goes, well, it looks pretty frosty. He didn't say no. Well, so then I called over there to see what time I could go out tomorrow. And Peg answered the phone and she said, Peg, it will come back to you. And she said, oh, no, they're going out.
Peggy Sue?
So she said they're going out right now. I could have played this morning, but I didn't think I could. I misjudged it. It was. So I know that there are people out there right now that are going to feel that their day is not fulfilled because they don't get to hear the Wheel of Topic today. But we'll be back.
You'll be there tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be back at it tomorrow, and I'm playing Saturday as well. I think that probably will be it. I mean, there was some consideration of taking tomorrow off. 65 degrees tomorrow. It's going to be middle of November. But then you start thinking to yourself, I played 225 rounds of golf this year. Do I really need to take a day off to squeeze in one more round of golf? And I decided no. I decided I needed to be here for the listeners, particularly on a Friday with a big game coming up, Bears, Vikings. You know what else? I don't get an opportunity to listen to the radio much. And, but I here are some of the things I'm missing. This is what I missed today on the Paul Allen Project, apparently. I checked my email when I got here at the radio station. Listener said Ben Lieber was on with PA, and you know what he told PA? We need to stay out of third and eights and get more third and threes. And I thought, why didn't I think of that? Why you can't get insight like that except from Ben Lieber or Mark Rosen. Because my guess is Rosen will come in today and say, what the Vikings really, if he says what the Vikings need to do is stay out of third and long, third and eights, and do third and threes, we'll know that he was stealing another of Lieber's takes. But that's what Lieber came up with. I would have never thought of that.
That was always one of my biggest pet peeves in the past. You'd always hear like analysis of the Vikings, the Vikings need to do better on third down. What does that mean? Right? Like, that gives no analysis as to how you become better at third down. You're just saying you have to get better at third down. And part of being good on third down is you need to be good on first and second down. If you put yourself in a third and 15, you're not going to be good on third down. I know. This is mind-blowing stuff.
I got to give you one of these. Where is it? Where's Brilliant?
Did you lose Brilliant?
Brilliant might be the one that I lost.
Well, you'd also lost Delicious. I had to put Delicious back on your page.
I think I lost Brilliant, too.
Because I remember looking at your page there. You had two of something.
Yeah, I had two.
Where do you have the two?
I had two, but they don't have two anymore because you put Joker Delicious.
I put Delicious on there.
We can get Halloween out of there.
Oh, because we replaced That's All, folks. Yeah, you want me to put it on the Halloween?
Yeah, because we need to have Brilliant there. What's wrong? Sorry.
Brilliant.
That was brilliant, Tennessee. We have to do better on first and second.
Well, yeah.
Because if you do better on first and second down, then you won't have third and eight.
And then my question would be, well, how do you do better on third down?
I would say...
What do you do differently?
Well, I would say block, open up some holes, and hopefully your running back can hit them and gain some yardage, get some chunk yards so you have shorter downs, or have your quarterback complete some passes. That would be the way to do it. Easier said than done, though. But we'll see how that works out. I'm also going to ask Rosen again. So far we've established he would not trade Ant for Wembanyama in a million years. He would not trade him for Chet Holmgren. I'm going to throw out another name today and see if he would make a trade. Because there were a couple of scintillating performances last night I watched, I'm not paying as close attention to the NBA as I once did. Now, the Warriors were brilliant last night after getting run roughshod. What is it? The Thunder ran roughshod over them the other night, right? And that's where Butler said, well, we just got to try to play. If you're not trying on defense, you can't play defense. They played Wembanyama last night. There's a clip of Wembanyama. And they lost, by the way. The Golden State Warriors won, and Steph went off for 55. Was that right? Did I see that right? Did he go off for 55? So, close to that, or maybe it was 45, and he had 5 assists and 5 boards, too. He was just spectacular. But they show a clip where they're trying to get around Wembanyama, and so Steph tries to move around him and, dribble through the legs. He can't get past him, so he has to go back out. They pass him. Then Wembanyama, they get the ball to somebody. Wembanyama again, He's still early in his career. Things can change in a hurry, but wow. He just changes everything on a basketball court. Everything. He gets a triple-double pretty near every night. And he, at 7'5", he protects the rim and he runs the floor like a point guard.
And he's still growing.
That's exactly right. He's still getting bigger. So, but we'll bounce that off Rosen. Also today, spread swing. Deuce will join us via phone. So spread swing's coming up at 1:30. Then Mark Rosen will join us at 2 o'clock. The Thursday nighter might be one of the worst games ever in the history of pro football.
That could be a bad one.
It's Dolphins and who?
No, it's not Dolphins.
Oh, it's Commanders?
Jets, Patriots.
Oh, it's Jets, Patriots.
Yeah.
Well, which one is Commanders, Dolphins?
Well, that Commanders, Dolphins Sunday morning.
Oh, that's Sunday morning.
Must be across the pond somewhere.
No one will get up to watch that, will they?
People that have Devon A-Chain on their fantasy football team. Maybe other than that.
Other than that, I guess that would probably be it. I've got some other Viking insights for you, Tennessee, and not just that. The Vikings need to do better. They need to have 3rd and 3s more than 3rd and 8s. I do like that. I'm going to use that today with Rosen, unless he beats me to it, because he was probably listening earlier today with Lieber.
And on defense, they want to force more 3rd and 8s than 3rd and 3s. That's my defensive analysis for the game.
Brilliant.
This is why we're doing this. This is why we're so popular right now. It's insight like this. So peek at the purple on the other side of the break. But you know what else we like to do? We try to give our listeners, our good friends, an opportunity to win money. And Tennessee is going to do just that with the keyword of the National Cash Contest, right?
The fan and 2 men in a junk truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with our National Cash Contest. Enter the keyword bank at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. The keyword is bank. Enter now at KFAN.com. KFAN welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra for 2 amazing shows at Target Center on December 28th at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Tickets are on sale now. Get the complete show details, including a link to buy tickets at KFAN.com keyword calendar.
Couple 13-14 past. I'm Common. He's Tennessee. Shockingly affordable. I caught you off guard, didn't I? That's Affordable Electric. They bring you peek at the purple. If you're buying or selling a home, don't skip the most important inspection. That would be the electrical one. You could have hidden issues in the wiring. Panels or outlets could cost you thousands of dollars down the road. At Affordable Electric, their licensed electricians will give you peace of mind with honest pro electrical assessments. That's professional electrical assessments before you buy or sell. Protect your investment and your family's safety. Affordable Electric. Affordable-electric.com. Affordable-electric.com. And remember, they are short in the system. They are shockingly affordable. I was reading Emily Liker's piece. She writes Fish Wrap Factory West Side. She's one of the Viking writers, talking about J.J. McCarthy and the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings and start number 5 for our young quarterback. I believe this is start. It's either 5 or 6, right? He started
Chicago, Atlanta, and then Detroit, Baltimore.
Okay, so this is start number 5. And there was a quote, and we had it on the radio because it was from the head coach of the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, during his midweek news conference, where in talking about McCarthy and his progression as a quarterback, he says sometimes when a guy's making his 3rd or 4th or 5th start now this week, it's a lot to ask in the midst of games, especially how they've kind of played out. But that doesn't change the fact that we're in the business of trying to go 1-0 this week. And then Emily says, this is what O'Connell said amid a longer answer, much longer as we know, longer answer about patience with starting a new young quarterback, because you do need to be patient. He says there's been a lot of encouraging things to go along with things we can improve on. He knows that. We know that. And then it says this week is one when the Vikings could start to really make that consistency happen with McCarthy. And one of the reasons they feel that way is because now McCarthy is playing a team for the second time, and not just the second time like he played against them last season. This is a second time this season because we played Bears, Lions, Packers twice. So he played the Bears game, struggled the first three quarters, was exceptional in quarter number 4, and the Vikings won the game. So I think they feel like, as a matter of fact, Aaron Jones, running back of the Vikings, says matchups with division rivals always come with a sense of familiarity that can be advantageous. Of course, that goes the other way too. But I think the Vikings are looking at this as this is one of the last things she writes is it's a pivotal point in the season and a pivotal point for McCarthy, who's well aware of the importance of consistency. He knows that. And with this game, they can go back, they watch film of week 1, they see the things that worked, what didn't work, Bear tendencies, watch other film of their most recent games, and then maybe that will help him along. So I think the quarterback himself, and I think the team as a whole is hoping to see some progress here this week. I can tell you one way they could make some progress is stay out of 3rd and longs and make sure that you're on 3rd and shorts. If you have 3rd and 3, it's a lot easier, not only on a young quarterback, but even on a young, inexperienced quarterback, but a sage old veteran, right? The further the ball has to travel for a first down, the better it is for the offense. You can use that. I
think another key is when you get in the red zone, you got to score touchdowns instead of field goals.
Well, that's another. Yeah, that would be the.
Can I give you some 9 to noon-esque positivity?
Sure,
potentially for JJ McCarthy.
Yes, we'd like to.
Game number 1 against the Bears.
Okay.
He was healthy. Had a brilliant fourth quarter.
Yep.
They won the game. Game 2 against Atlanta, he struggled mightily. But we also found out in that game that he played like a good chunk of that game with a bum ankle.
Right.
So bad game, not healthy. He comes back from the injury. He's healthy. Against Detroit, played a pretty good game against the Lions, did he not? Mm-hmm. Game 4 against Baltimore, did not play well, but we find out he hit his hand on a helmet at some point. So the two worst of the 4 games he's played, he was injured in the game. His 2 healthiest games, now the Chicago game, he was not brilliant the whole time, but it's also first ever NFL start. So there's me trying to give some excuses for J.J. McCarthy.
Well, here, let me throw a wet blanket on that. A wet blanket Wednesday on a throw in the towel Thursday. He's still hurt because they said the hand. No! I think there was another quote in that same story. Give me a second here.
Well, if the hand is still hurt come Sunday, I mean, out of all the injuries your quarterback's going to play for, that one seems like that's going to have an effect on your ability to throw the ball. So maybe Brosmer should be playing.
It says somewhere here, McCarthy was a limited participant in practice Wednesday, wearing a bandage on his right throwing hand after hitting it on the lineman's helmet against the Ravens. I know I saw the quote somewhere. I think McCarthy said something to the effect of, it's probably going to be there for a while, too. He's going to play with it like that. So, in other words, it's going to be a slow healing thing. It's going to be swelled up. I know I saw that in one of the stories. I guess it wasn't in that one. So, we'll see if that, if that is indeed an issue in the game. But, yeah, I think... I think O'Connell, what he said here in that quote is he says, hold on. Can you give me that? Thank you. Oh, yeah, here it is. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell said it's not expected it would affect McCarthy's prep, the injury, very much at all. An assessment the quarterback agreed with, though he did say he's going to be feeling it the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So, no! And it is the throwing hand, so that doesn't really bode well. But what the coach said, and we looked at this quote, he says, sometimes when a guy's making his 3rd or 4th or 5th start now this week, it's a lot to ask in the midst of games, especially how they've kind of played out. but that doesn't change the fact that we're in the business of trying to get to 1-0 this week. In other words, it's not the most ideal situation to be in because you are a team that is trying to win games and contend and get yourself back into the NFC North race and try to qualify for the playoffs, yet you're doing it while you're spoon-feeding a young quarterback. That's learning as he goes. There was quotes from last week, I think, or immediately following the game from McCarthy where he was talking about, yeah, I learned something here that I didn't know before. And so as he's learning as he goes, that when it's difficult to excel in that consistency that they're looking for. It's difficult to be consistent. When you have your veteran, everybody knows this. This is like, this is sort of like on the same vein as stay out of third and long and have third and short. The more experience your quarterback has, the better. I talked the other day about, I watched the Dan Campbell midday. They all do a Wednesday press conference, and they were asking about Goff. He says, this is the best you've seen Goff play? He goes, Goff gets better every day, and he sees everything. He's played so long now. There's nothing that he hasn't seen before. I go, we gave him a game plan. He glanced at it, and he's out there running in the first practice. It's because those veteran quarterbacks are so comfortable with being out there, right? They just, it's just second nature to them, what they do out there on the field. And that's going to be so the Vikings are in that place where you're probably now you're hoping he learns quickly and gets consistent quickly. But my guess against the Bears, we'll probably see what we've seen so far. We'll see some nice moments from McCarthy, but we'll also see some moments that'll make you kind of want to cringe a little bit, right? But that's the way it is when you're breaking in a young kid. Game time is 12 noon. You'll hear it on this radio station. Our coverage begins at 10 o'clock. We'll pause and come back with more controversial Vikings news and a couple of other topics to get to. Peek at the Purple brought to you by our friends at Affordable Electric. Affordable-Electric for all of your electrical needs. And remember, they are shockingly affordable. Let's take a break. Come back with more after this here on the Common Man program on The Fan.
KFAN and the Vikings are teaming up for Toys for Tots. Join us live at Shields in Eden Prairie on Tuesday, December 2nd from 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. for our annual broadcast presented by Unreal. Bring a toy, spread some joy, and if you're one of the first 50 donors each show, you'll score a sweet KFAN Unreal Winter Beanie. Details at KFAN.com/toys.
What's the name of the place again?
That would be, we're doing Toys for Tots live at Shields in Eden Prairie.
And what's the date on that again? What time?
Tuesday, December 2nd, 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. You and I will be there noon to 3.
Very good. From the 218, Bradshaw Bryant KFAN text line, it says, can you please reload yesterday's show? About half of it's missing from the podcast.
Uh-oh.
On the iHeartRadio app. I would just suggest listening to the rest of this show because you'll hear pretty much the same thing today as you would have yesterday. We don't change it up too often. Here's something else I want to add to me. You know how you can really avoid having third and long or even third and short? Pick up first downs on either first or second down. Brilliant. Don't even go to third down.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. Don't even just gain so many large chunks of yardage that you don't need to even get to a third down. Go the entire game never having a third and whatever. Just a 1st and 10 and get 12 yards. Then on the next one, get 8 yards and have a 2nd and 2 and then gain a first down there and never get to third down.
I will also say, so it was Lieber who said you'd rather have 3rd and 3s than 3rd and 8s?
Yes.
Do you know how many 3rd and 1s and 3rd and 2s the Vikings had last game that they just bungled and they never ran the ball and they're throwing interceptions? But it's all going to change because KLC is a quarterback whisperer. He's going to get the J.J. McCarthy this week. Well,
and McCarthy he's played the Bears, so they're going to study the film and they're going to know exactly what to do. Someone else, couple of other before we move on to another topic that I found on a website that I'm not sure if you're familiar with or not. It says, how long do we have to wait for McCarthy to get up to speed? It's football. He's been playing his whole life. He had all of last year to watch and get immersed in the offense, yet he still can't figure out pre-snap cadence, that's sort of kind of what I've been saying a little bit here as we go along. Everybody learns and develops at a different speed. I've always thought it's throwing, running, tackling, passing, blocking, kicking, the whole thing. But it's probably a bit more complex than that, and you do have to give them some time, and we'll see how that goes. You're familiar, I don't know if you are, have you ever heard of The Athletic?
The what?
Athletic, I have a prescription to it. It's an online sports page. Sports, your whole life, just sports. It covers, you name the sport, they cover it. The 4 men's majors, the women's majors, auto racing, golf, everything. It's all there. Soccer from across the pond, you name it, they cover it. Writers from all over the country, many based right here in Minneapolis, in St. Paul, writing about the local teams here. They also, on this story, it has an editor's note. This story is part of Peak, the Athletics desk covering leadership, personal development, and performance through the lens of sport. Follow Peak here, and then you can click here. Here's the headline of the story, Tennessee. Can a jersey number give a player a psychological edge? Now, if you remember last year,
we've heard that one before.
Ago, who was our running back that changed to number 4? And he said everything was going to be different. Dalvin Cook said,
right?
I'm changing to number 4, and everything's going to be different. Well, it wasn't any different. Matter of fact, if anything, Dalvin regressed. And he's not in the league anymore now, right? He can't be, I don't think. Is he? Do you know if Dalvin Cook is in the league anymore?
No, I don't think he is.
So the change in number didn't really work for Dalvin. He thought it was going to electrify his career.
Well, I think was it this training camp or last year's training camp where Alec Lewis said players look faster?
That's part.
Oh, is that what's coming?
It's part of this story. Are you familiar with somebody named Bear Bachmeier?
No.
Bear Bachmeier is a true freshman starting quarterback for BYU. He's had a very good year. It says, you familiar with Bobby Bocher? He was a character in an Adam Sandler movie.
Bobby Boucher.
Boucher, is that what it is? I've never watched it. It's
a great movie. It's The Waterboy.
Yeah, I missed it. Bad break for me, I'm sure. Boucher is what it is?
Phenomenal tackler.
Phenomenal. So apparently, Bear Bachmeier went to an Adam Sandler show and brought him a jersey, that the character wore in the movie to get it autographed, right? This Bachmeier character believes in the jersey thing. It says, traditionally, quarterbacks in football have worn numbers 1 through 19, a system initially designed to help officials identify the most important player on the field. In the NFL, quarterbacks are still required to wear a number in that range. But in college, there are no such restrictions. And so Bachmeier's opted for something a bit different. Number 47 is his number.
Okay.
A jersey number long reserved for fullbacks and middle linebackers. Of the 163 FBS quarterbacks who have played 150 snaps this season, Bachmeier is the only one to wear a number above 19. I think somebody had to do the research for that to find out of the 163 FBS quarterbacks who have played 150 snaps this season, he's the only one to wear a number above 19. He's got some good numbers, Tennessee. He's been a revelation for undefeated BYU this season. Or did they finally lose? Because I saved the story from a day or two.
Yeah.
They finally lost.
I know he had a bad game, yeah.
I thought they lost. But anyway, 6'2", 225. He's been efficient, throwing for 16.
They lost to Texas Tech 29-7.
He's been efficient, throwing for 1,693 yards, along with 11 tutties and 3 ints. It's when he tucks the ball into his elbow and takes off, that because he runs with the football route. And it says he feels the most like 47. He says, when I put that on, it's a reminder of family and trying to make them proud. I'm playing quarterback and having that uniqueness. It is the epitome of toughness. It's a fine line, but it makes me want to run somebody over. I think it brings me back to that primitive nature. Almost like an alter ego thing, kind of.
Sure, like Nine.
With like Nine has. Because the deal is, his dad wanted him to wear a different number. That's where the story goes. But here's what it says. A UCLA study found that smaller jersey numbers led people to perceive players as slimmer. ESPN's Kevin Seifert talked to NFL receivers who wore jersey numbers in the single digits and teens. Many said they felt faster in a smaller number. Jersey numbers can be integral to a player's identity. Veteran athletes on new teams have paid tens of thousands of dollars to reclaim a number occupied by one of their teammates. Former NFL running back Chris Thompson put it this way when talking to the Washington Post. I'm all about you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you play good. I'm all about that. I know it ain't all about that, but that's what I'm believing in my mind. And then the next paragraph is a question. Could a player find a psychological edge, however small, and wearing a number that signifies something to them? Dr. Chris Stanovich is a sports psychologist, who has worked with youth, collegiate, and pro athletes. Here's what he says. As humans, we really like having control of our lives, control of our surroundings. And part of that control is controlling your own identity. As an athlete, you think, that is who I am. I am that number. And the number for many athletes provides comfort and confidence. Every little edge helps. It might not be a big deal to 6 or 7 year olds he uses. I would just say 6, 7 year olds. But in high school, college, and pros, if you can get a jump about feeling good with your own identity with this number on your back, wouldn't you do it? Oh my gosh. And I guess, I don't know if you're familiar with a song by Joe South, but it's, oh, the games people play now every night and every day now. And I guess and John Lennon did a song called Mind Games. If you are convinced in your head that it will work, I guess there's something to it. But you know, for every guy that thinks the uniform number is going to change how he performs, and maybe he does perform better with it, there's the Dalvin Cooks of the world. Because if you remember, Dalvin changed numbers and said he was going to be better because of it, and he wasn't any better. You know, I mean, it's like, I guess I could even take this to, let's talk about McCarthy again. You know, his alter ego is 9. Now, I suppose if he was number 6, his alter ego would be 6, right? So I guess it's any way you can try to gain an edge. And if you think it's by the jersey number you wear, well, there's that. I'll tell you, the only experience I've had with the jersey number, this was back at Coon Rapids Junior High School. Now, I think I've told you this before. When I played Coon Rapids Athletic Association football, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, I played both sides of the ball. I was a fierce pass-rushing, Rocket Gibraltar run-stopping defensive lineman and a precise route-running, sure-handed pass-catching tight end. When I got to junior high, and the reason I played on the line and played tight end was, and I think they still do this, I'm not sure if this still does, but in grade school football, they separated by weight class, right? 75 pounds or less, you played light weights. Over 75 pounds, you played heavyweights. I was like 74, 75 pounds. I was on the high end of the lightweights. So, of course, I'm one of the bigger kids on the lightweight. So I'm playing offensive line and tight end and a little or defensive line, tight end, and some offensive line. When I got in, I did that for 3 years, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. When I got to junior high, they throw that out the window. 75-year-old kids play with 200-pound kids. Doesn't matter what your weight is. Well, so then when I went for tryouts, they asked what position I play. I go, I'm a fierce pass-rushing, Rocket Gibraltar, run-stopping defensive lineman, precise. And they go, not anymore, you're not. You're not big enough.
Not going to work.
You're going to be defensive back. I had no training in defensive back, and I was
overwhelmed?
I was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I looked a lot like some of the, well, put it this way. When I was a defensive back, I looked like a chair. That's what I looked like. You know how they use chairs when they're practicing zones and stuff? I was a chair.
You weren't used to backpedaling.
I wasn't used to backpedaling.
You were always going forward.
That's exactly right. And so I also learned, and I've talked about this before too, I was smart enough to figure out, well, now I'm basically nothing but a tackling dummy and a blocking sled for the starters, right? They need to practice against somebody. So I'm getting all beat up, and I got smart, and I said, I'm out. I'm done. I'm retiring from football after 7th grade. You probably won't find this surprising. I was very popular with my fellow teammates and my fellow students, and they so badly wanted me to be part of the team. They wanted me to be manager guy. You know, the manager, the guy, the dorky-looking guy with the, with the
keeping stats.
Yeah, and carrying
water bottles,
carrying the little toolbox with the tape in it.
Yeah.
Well, I was humbled by it, which is hard to do, and so I said, okay, I'll do that. I'll hang out with you guys. So I was manager in 8th grade. When it came time to pass out the uniforms, I got the first choice. Which one do you think I took? Number 1. All the numbers were there. 1, 2, all the way through whatever, 99, whatever it was. And so I did select a number because I felt like, by gosh, I'm number 1. I turned into Delvin Cook. It didn't help at all. I wasn't number 1. So in other words, I had the choice of my number, and I thought it was cool to be the number 1. You know, be number 1. Think big and be big. And it didn't work for me. Now, it doesn't mean it doesn't work for somebody else.
Well, I was going to say, let's take this a step further. Do people with longer last names feel slower than people with shorter last names because it doesn't take up as much space on the jersey? I mean, Tom Brady's one of the greatest of all time. Yeah. Just only 5 letters in that last name.
Well, Simeon Woods Richardson, have you ever seen his name on the back of his jersey? It says Woods Richardson. It starts from his elbow.
It's like a rainbow.
Yeah, and it goes all the way up and down to the other elbow. I
feel like too many words have been written on this topic.
Yeah, well, but it's. Do you believe in any of it? I mean, I guess. I've told the tale about mind over matter, doing hallucinogenics, getting inside of a sauna and not sweating because I convinced myself I wasn't hot. Now, it was because of a whole multicolored galaxy of representatives, screamers, and laughers. But the mind is a powerful thing. You can convince yourself. So if you wear a number, like, I think I've asked you before, when you played hockey, did you have a number that you wanted to have and requested and wore most of the time or not?
I mean, it changed every year.
Oh, okay.
But I landed on number 20 in high school.
And you liked number 20. Was there any or just that was the one they gave you and you just said,
I think a lot of it was growing up playing youth hockey. You were only going to get like 1 through 17. You never had choices past 17. Okay. So once you got to high school, all of a sudden the amount of jerseys you could choose from increased. And I guess I just like even numbers better than odd numbers. And I was a left-handed defenseman. At the time, Mike Crawley was one of my favorite players. He was a defenseman for the Gophers. Our game's very comparable.
Yes.
A lot of people looked at me and thought, man, that's Mike Crawley out there.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. He was number 20 for the Gophers.
So that's why you chose 20.
Yeah.
Do you feel you played better wearing number 20?
I can't even see the number on my jersey.
Well,
it's behind me. So
yeah. So again, but this kid for BYU basically says the reason I play at the level I play at is because I'm wearing.
Well, so his is the wider number.
Yes.
So is the argument there that the opposing team thinks he looks slower and then he just runs right past him?
Well, I think when he runs the ball, he feels like he's a bruiser because that's what he said here. He said, when I put that on as a reminder of family and trying to make them proud, I'm playing quarterback and having that uniqueness is the epitome of toughness because that's supposed to be 47 is like a linebacker number, right? So it makes him tough. Here's what it said about his old man. It says, Bear didn't choose 47 himself. It was selected by his father, Michael. Bear was 5, playing linebacker and running back for the Rancho Panthers growing up in Marietta, California. Michael, his dad, a former officer in the United States Marine Corps, chose the number for Bear because he felt it represented toughness. I think he's overthinking it a little bit. Growing up, Michael always admired fullbacks and linebackers. Back then, stars of those positions weren't allowed to wear the numbers from 1 through 19 like quarterbacks. They were anywhere from 20 to 55. But why precisely 47? Here's what Bear said. I'm not entirely sure, My dad really likes those 30s, 40s, and 50s numbers. He stuck with it. He played quarterback growing up, but he wanted me to be gritty and tough. Whatever works. The kid's playing Division I football, and he's playing at a pretty good level, and he's playing for a pretty good team, but I don't know.
I've never looked at the number on my jersey as I'm putting it on before a sporting event to go, oh, this is going to pump me up, this number right here.
Well,
I'm motivated to play.
What else is said in this story, and I could look for it, but I don't need to. One of the psychologist type guys might have been the same one, saying, like, if he said he noticed that in class, he'll ask, does anybody have a favorite number? And almost everybody puts up their hand. Like, do you have a favorite number?
I mean, 20 has turned into it just because that's the one I had.
For the longest time, mine was either 13 or 14, and now it's 6, 7. So mine's changed over the years. It was 13, 14, then it was 6, 7. I don't really have a favorite number. I think some people do. So, do you have a favorite color? Some people have a favorite color.
You don't have a favorite color?
No, not necessarily, no. I don't think I...
That's interesting because they always say, like, your favorite color has some sort of deep meaning as to what your personality is like.
Well, I'm dark and brooding, so I do like black.
What about Honolulu blue? Is that your favorite color? Or silver?
Right now, I like it a lot. I didn't like it growing up during the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I didn't like Honolulu blue because it represented losing. Honolulu's blue is really basically what it was. The number 20 is a very special number now. A very special number. That's how many years Common and 10 have been doing the show. Congrats on 20 years. If no one said that to you yet, I'm going to say it to you now. So there you go. So anyways, good luck to number 47 with BYU. And they do now allow anybody to wear any number. Well, it says in the NFL they still won't. It's still 0 through 19.
They've relaxed on some of the number-related rules, right? Like wide receivers are wearing single digits and teens now.
Well, Jahmyr Gibbs wears 0 for the kiddies. But yeah, it used to be that it had to be. I think running backs had to be like in the 30s. Fullbacks were in the 40s, right? Linebackers were 50s, 60s. And then 70s were linemen. But I think you can pretty much use any number you want, which only makes sense, I guess. But here's one. Is there a specific golf ball number that you prefer to play? I've never. Though generally when you buy a dozen golf balls, they are numbered 1 through 4. Generally. You'll find some boxes 5 through 8, right?
You ever do the custom ones?
And then you can have the custom ones. Yeah. You can order your own. I've never felt the need to do that personally, but
I did it once because I think there was like a special or a coupon on it. So I had 20 on it.
Yeah.
So if you had 20 in the woods, it's mine.
Yes, there's probably plenty of those too. Yeah. Well, I had one time. Dark Star had made golf balls for me that said "Common Man" on them. I went to check my mailbox one time, and one of my golf balls was in the mailbox. So somebody found my golf ball that I'd lost in the golf course and knew where I lived with my mailbox. I'm still here to talk about it. So.
Well, I mean, you've told them your address is 1314 Insane Lane.
Well, that is correct. You're absolutely true. Let's take a break, come back. So this is what we have left yet. 534 after our top of the hour break. Rosen and Deuce join us at 1:30 for Spread Swing. Then Rosen rounds out the rest of the show from 2 until 3. But what you got for 534, Tanner?
Could a local star waive his no-trade clause?